Ghost Gaming draw first blood in this round. Identity shuts down Jerky, but there's an instant reaction from Rise as it stands a 3 versus 3. Avexes isn't done just yet, finds one more, looking for the double. He's done so well to stay alive. One more player down for Reg at least.
They're running all the way around here, and Rushy's decaps it. Doesn't allow him to get anything with it. A couple players are going to try and challenge here. You're going to have Identities in front. 3 seconds. He's got to push into this one, or else it's going to be game over. Another one's pushing up Dezo. And Rushy's goes up with 2.
Don't do it to him.
He's going to be able to stay alive.
Hello, welcome to Esports in 30, the show where we take a deep dive into a different game each day of the week. I'm Marissa, this right here is Zurich, and today, well, as per usual, we're talking first-person shooters. JK, today's third-person shooter, because we gotta talk about Gears of War, Zurich.
Yeah.
Gears of War.
Gears of War, Boston Open, the last event
Yeah.
for this game before the new one releases.
I know, so exciting, but basically what we're saying is we love Gears, and Gears needs love too, and what better time to do it in the final Gears 4 esports tournament, the Boston Open. So let's check out these brutal highlights.
All the way around here, and Rushy's decaps it. Doesn't allow him to get anything with it. A couple players are going to try and challenge here. You're going to have Identities in front. 3 seconds. He's got to push into this one, or else it's going to be game over. Another one's pushing up Dezo. And Rushy's goes up with 2.
Don't do it to him.
He's going to be able to stay alive.
Finds praise as well. Rezik pushing straight through. Summons in his sight. Can't let Summons clutch up. He's done phenomenal in a 1v2. Summons still alive. Rezik looking for 3. And Summons goes big for the green wall.
Probably hearing the call out from his team that we got the touch, They need the decap there, especially on E. Mortifies, he's gonna get taken down. Decap not able to come out, Lava taken out next, so Reciprocity completes the comeback.
It's Ghost Gaming. Control first blood in this round. Identity shuts down Jerky, but there's an instant reaction from Rise as it stands a 3 versus 3. Avexes isn't done just yet, finds one more, looking for the double. He's done so well to stay alive.
He's got to be careful, and also needs to be careful for his face, because Dezo has that sniper. That's nice. He's looking right at
the
him.
Angle.
He's going to shoot him in the face.
There goes Icy. This looks like it could be it. There goes Sleepy. 3 dead for the side of Reciprocity. 4 dead. Drop shot down. Ghost Gaming.
That also can't be. He'll take out Toydes and open up the door.
Oh, what an amazing shot.
He's going to play the lane, use the torque bow, force this guy back, tags him. That's going to be another one. Speedy is ripping everyone to shreds this game. But a player does go in, doesn't need the torque bow.
Doesn't need anything.
That's number 2.
On the trip cap, Summons is going to have to make a play down low at B. Will he touch the hill in time?
Yeah. A big play required for Fable. They're pushing in. They get some damage. Still back and forth. Here comes Fable. GuyBlaze with a double. Looking for another kill. Let's get him on the board a 3rd time.
GuyBlaze making the God play. Right back in this game.
Oh, look at it.
Not that way
Now
with
your
the
power
drop.
weapon's done.
Right back in this game, people. Simplicity.
I want to see them push the home hill.
Going for it.
4 players. Monkeys is drawing some attention. But Mental got the double. He says, nah, not this home hill.
Don't do it to him.
Let me get the triple.
Billy with
Back
the first
up.
defensive kill. E has been touched. F is over there, but the 2 kills come through. That should surely be that.
They do it, boys.
They won in Columbus 3 times, Mexico City twice, London, Atlantic City, Paris, Las Vegas, Dallas, New Orleans, San Diego, and now Boston. The legacy is cemented. Optic Gaming, the most dominant team to ever play in console esports history.
No surprise, the Optic Gaming lived that trophy high, but this one felt that little bit extra special, right? As the final chapter of Gears of War history finally comes to a close. But to tell us why this tournament was so cool and a whole lot more, let's welcome caster, analyst, and all-around awesome guy, Blaze Spencer.
Yo, happy to be back once again. Appreciate you guys having me. Boston was a wild event.
Oh my gosh, I mean, we were so delighted to watch you there. We just love watching you do what you do, for sure, in all of this. And you're such a staple in the Gears community. Those boys love you, the casters love you. You seem to have a really tight community there too. But obviously you've watched Optic Gaming win time after time after time. There's already been a lot said about the greatness of Optic Gaming. So now for Gears 4 coming to a close, do you think that they can take this stock now, their dynasty, and actually implement it with Gears 5?
You know what? Optic Gaming is definitely solidified as a dynasty, but not just in Gears esports. You know, we had a lot of conversation on the desk about it all weekend long, and I would say a dynasty in esports overall. You got to think about the consistency of what they did, you know, winning 13 out of 15 majors, and that's not even counting the regional events. I've never seen a Gears of War team do it on that scale in any other previous Gears game. And then you can take a look at past console esports history and ask yourself, well, what team had a dynasty like that? And that was Final Boss, but considering they had a tournament about every 2 weeks back in 05, I believe, when they actually went on that run. This Optic Gaming team doing what they did in 2019 kind of solidifies them as one of the best esports teams in history, if you ask me about that. The real question is if they can kind of take that same energy going over to Gears 5. Hopefully by it being a new game, some of our players would have a little extra, you know, energy behind them to probably come out and beat those boys.
Going off on that best esports team in history, potentially, how difficult it is to add context to various dynasties across different console esports when their popularity and relative competitiveness within the scenes are so diverse.
Yeah, you know, it is a little bit different, but you know, as an esports player, as a former player myself, it's something that goes into that. And to have that type of consistency and to have that grit and to go out there and create systems for your team to practice with, because, you know, there's no perfect formula elsewhere. You can kind of look towards traditional sports, but to be able to do all of that and win under those spotlights is so difficult. And you think about the other esports that's out there, you know, when it comes down to Call of Duty, Halo, Gears, and for me, it comes down to professionalism, consistency, and talent.
I mean, I love that you are keeping it consistent with the console esports, and you're making sure to just recognize that this is like the dynasty in console esports, because absolutely it is. But we need to talk about the #1 man on that team, Explosive.
And not just console. I'm going to say PC as well.
Wow.
You know, like all of esports. You know, you may have some Counter-Strike teams that was super consistent, but and had a lot of tournament wins, but more so online. Rather than outside of big majors. But, you know, if Optic had tournaments every single week and it was tournaments like that in Gears, they'll probably win those as well, you know? There's something to just be said about that core.
Okay, that's fair. I just don't want, you know, PC fans to start salting.
I'll take them. Y'all can tweet me. We'll go at it back and forth, okay? I ain't scared of y'all.
At me.
I mean, we need to talk about Explosive because I feel he's not scared of anyone either. He was named the MVP of Season 2, and he's still only 20 years old. Talk to us about the mystique Explosive has already built up to and what makes this guy such a special player in this game.
Well, you know what? It's very hard to find a good IGL. And what I mean by IGL, I mean in-game leader. And Explosive does it so well. He's had his core with him of summons and mental. Then they've had 5 other players to play with them throughout Gears of War 4. They had Lava, Kenny, Icy, Praise, and Solars. So a combination of those 5 with the core 3. But regardless of that, the one thing about them and why they was able to stay consistency even after switching the player out every time that they lost is because, you know, when you know that you have him leading the troops, you know, you can't help but to stay confident, but to stay in a positive environment. Explosive, when he thinks about the map, he has about 360-degree vision exactly where everything is, and then when he speaks this plan that needs to work in a certain time frame, but most importantly, his teammates trust what he's saying. And as soon as he says something, they're listening, which is super important in esports. They're listening to those call outs and they're going out and they're executing. When you win that much and when you're that confident, that energy spreads amongst your teammates and it becomes contagious. And next thing you know, the whole team is out here looking like all-stars.
Now we have to talk about kind of the cons of winning so much.
Sure.
How they are undoubtedly one of the best teams of all time. We wanted to touch, on the flip side of this dynasty, a certain sense of kind of fatigue from both the players, the commentators, and even the audience, right? How does having one team be so dominant for so long call the way for everyone's approach every single tournament, and how do you ensure that fans are still interested within the storylines when the winner is almost predetermined every single tournament?
Well, so you know what? It's two sides to this coin, and I'll touch bases first on the team side of it all, because this is also one of the reasons why what makes them so great, because you can win so much and then get really complacent. It's like, oh, nobody can beat us. We can take our foot off the gas, go out, have a good time, go party, go drink, do all of that. But at the same time, those Optic Gaming boys, they stayed in their flow. They didn't let the fame really get to them. You know, they live good lives, but at the same time, they got the practice in as well, and they realized what got them to that type of dominance, and to not forget the basics on that end. But then on the flip side of the coin, you got the fans who constantly watch it. Now, if you're a Green Wall fan, then it's like everything's good. You know, Optic Gaming's winning, everything is great. But the rest of the world is just like, oh my God, can somebody beat them? But the thing is that when one team looks good, or one team comes out like they're about to do it, you know, the people who enjoy the underdog, which is a lot of fans out there, I'm one of them who enjoy a good underdog story, they like to get behind those guys and then try to support them on that climb. So we always love those moments when we see it. You know, sometimes it can get a little blah. You know, but hey, it is what it is, and you know, you just gotta appreciate watching greatness.
Do you not get frustrated as a commentator just watching and then seeing other teams step to the plate and try to take out Optic? Do you not get frustrated thinking like, hey guys, you could have watched the match before, like you could have listened, because they do show them talking to each other as well. You get a little bit of in-game comms too. Like, can they not take some of that and maybe apply it to their game moving forward?
You know, I get frustrated as an old player, as a commentator across the board, because, you know, I watch so much of the game, but I watch it from a different perspective as well. That's why I say all teams need to make sure they go back and kind of watch those VODs and watch what's happening from that sense. But to beat those guys, it's so difficult, and it's so difficult to kind of get in there and get them. But one of these teams are going to be able to come out there and do it. The question is just when, you know?
And who?
The question, it takes one team to have a lot of heart to go out there and say, hey, you know what? I want to go out here. I want to practice. I want to get really nerdy at home. I want to write everything down. I want to take notes. The entire team needs to be inspired to beat those guys. But this is also something that even goes deeper not into now, because you got to think about when esports started about 10 years ago, we were all kids playing, right? We were all kids. Some of us never played traditional sports before. Some of us coming from different backgrounds. So in order for, you know, a group of kids to you know, one of them to become a leader and to lead the troops, and the other ones to become good soldiers and to practice that game without having no type of you know, elderly figure in that sense to teach them all, you know, to teach them all that. And I believe that we're coming to that age in esports where the players are really starting to take it more serious than what they used to. Understanding that these opportunities are once in a lifetime, and they're becoming to be more serious about it and develop better habits. So hopefully in the future, we will see more consistency out of everybody from practicing, from having perfect practice.
Right, yeah, I mean, we'd love to see that too, obviously. I do want to move on, though, from Optic, because I want to talk about a team that they did face in the final, Ghost Gaming. Ghost Gaming just seems to have this amazing rally behind them, because, like, they could be the team possibly, but also, like, their dominance and their popularity in Mexico and just the LATAM region in general is pretty amazing. But I want to talk about Identives, because he just seems to be, like, the face of the team, but also somebody who is up and coming, and I want you to walk us through that journey for him in Gears 4 and maybe see if this transition could happen for him in that country, but also in Gears 5.
Oh man, you know, Identis is a player who started off with Splice in Season 1. You know, I didn't know much about him at the time. I knew that he played he had a big name online in that community. Throughout the years, Gears of War has had a big community in North America and Latin America. And, you know, this is something that's been going on since Gears 1, and also a big community in EU. But, you know, until Gears 4 came out, we didn't realize how big our Latin American community was until we went to that first Mexico City event. And those fans turned up. And it was something I've been waiting to see for so long in Gears of War. I didn't know I was going to be able to find that in Mexico. But then that entire fan base, that same fan base supports him the same way. When he played with Spice the entirety of Season 1, tried to win a chip, their highest placing was second in the Paris finals, in which they went against Optic Gaming, and they had 2 close matches but couldn't reset the series. But he said, you know what, I'm gonna leave because I need to go to North America. I need to find a squad. I need to learn. I need to figure out what these guys are doing so good that our Latin American teams can't really beat them, or really the EU team. So he went and joined up with Ghost Gaming's North American roster at that time with Sleepy, Rushy, Speedy, and Ribs, and Ribs. And so he got with those guys, and they won an event. He went to North America, won an event, and right after he went back home. That story sounds. There's only one other, sports player that I know who has done something like that, and that's LeBron. All right, LeBron went to Miami. All right, he says, you know what? I need to get this trophy. Got the trophy, went back home to Cleveland and got one for them as well. Idennis went back to LATAM, took Ghost with him, made a superstar roster. We watched them get third in Mexico City. The crowd was behind them. We watched them just get second in Boston. And I'm curious to see. I know that team's going to keep going on the up and up, and I'm actually excited to see what they're going to do in Gears 5, because that region is going to continue to grow, and they're like the Beatles down there.
I love that.
Yeah, in a similar vein, I wanted to touch on Elevate and their role in ensuring Europe not only has a representative, but one that can regularly challenge some of the best teams in North America. So with that being said, what makes Elevate such an important team in the context of, again, spreading the Gears scene, esports scene internationally?
Well, they play such a huge role, because when it has came down to international representation for Gears of War, Europe has always been the #1 region, dating back to Gears 1 with Dignitas coming over, Perico, back in Gears 2 as well. So they've always came across the pond to play in our events, and they've been super talented. We've had them surprise North American teams, get top 3, always representing that region. And so Gears has a big scene there, but it just takes that Elevate roster to come out and finally get those guys a championship, because they're well deserving of it. Now, the Elevate roster as a unit, very slow, methodical team. And we've watched them get better as the season goes on, and they've kind of adopted more of the North American play styles and learned to go blow for teams such as Optic Gaming and Reciprocity. So they got what it takes in the future, just a little bit more growth. And, it comes back down to saying that these teams are getting into the point of saying, hey, you know what? We need to have great practice. We need to take this super serious. We need to treat this as if it's a job, because it's a lot of money to win out there. Optic Gaming won over $1 million within 2 seasons.
Yeah.
The 5 of them. So it's money that's out there. You just got to take it serious.
Take it serious, practice, get good, win that
Trust
dough.
your teammates. Be a good friend.
Yeah.
Be a good brother.
Be a good friend. Be a good person. Why not? Just add that into the belt too. We have to talk about Reciprocity, because obviously they are formed, like that team itself is formed from former players of Echo Fox and Ghost Gaming. One of the players that was getting a lot of talk around him was Franchise and his new team of Reciprocity. So over and over again in Season 2, he faced Optic and was never able to get that win. And again in Boston, he didn't get it either. Can you explain? I know. Can you explain to us Franchise's long road as a player throughout Gears 4 and his still unfulfilled quest to take down that green wall?
Well, when it comes down to Fran, I've been with him on his esports journey. We started at the same time, 2006, back in Gears 1. Went into our first MLG event in Meadowlands, and from then he has stayed in the game, and he has stayed a top competitor since then. Our longest standing competitor. He's been to more events out of anybody. He's seen so many different versions of Gears of War, so many different play styles. He played against the best in every game. So seeing his Optic Gaming team, he knows what it takes to beat somebody like that. And that's why some of these younger players get behind him. That's why he's constantly stayed at the top, because he has knowledge that not everyone has. But he just could not. He got it done once, and he was the first to get it done in Gears 4. Let's not forget it. Team Envious, Mexico City, the third event of the season. Optic Gaming lost. They lost the third event of season 2 as well, but that's just stats. But anywho, that regardless of the fact is that franchise knows what it takes. He has the grit, and he has kept up with the test of time as well. It's been. I'll tell you one thing. As an old school player, he inspires me because I'm up here like, maybe one day I should come back to playing again. If Fran's still doing it, maybe I can do it as well. But one day I think he'll get it. Gears 5, having a new roster, he can probably get a new set of boys around him. The entire community is motivated with a new game coming out. It's been almost 3 years since we had a new title, and that's very rare when it comes down to esports.
Yo, Guy, now you have to come back. Now he has to come back. Let's see you play.
Oh man, I think about it every time when I'm watching teams play. I'm like, what? If I was on that team in his spot, oh man, I'd come out. I definitely get top 8, get top 4. I'm the type of person, I just find a group full of young guns, young players who are super talented, and just go through a boot camp and document the whole thing until we win a championship. That's the type of route that I like. I like working.
You cannot tease us with that, please, and then
I'd
not do
that.
it.
I'd watch that. That would be quality content.
Right. I don't know if my bosses will let me go though.
All right.
Talk to them.
All right, we got to move on. Now, one of the big storylines that you guys on the desk touched on was the wealth of young talent we saw take the stage in Boston. You guys mentioned it seemed like the next generation is primed to explode in Gears 5. Names like Toddy on Fable, Powers on Rise, Noe on Hive, Sneak on Mazer. How bright does the future of Gears esports look with players like these and are others ready to step up and lead the charge?
You know what? It looks super bright. I think, I had to think back post-Boston at every time a Gears of War title ended and that next generation who entered. Because all those players who you just named, was not really here at the end of Gears UE or, Gears 3. At least I didn't know about them in the competitive scene. And now they're blossoming on our circuit, and there's more players out there as well. It just takes for them to say, hey, you know what? Have the confidence to enter a new community and to enter a new esport and say, you know what? I want to just engulf myself in this, learn the game, and go out there and be the best. So it's awesome to see them. I do believe that we have more players who are on the upcoming, and we'll find new players in Gears 5. Even on the flip end as a caster. That's why I just try to, give out all the knowledge that I can, get super nerdy with it and just almost just be, somebody for the younger generation to kind of look up to and say, hey, you can grind out and even get into a position like this, or you can kind of stay in esports as long as you can, but it's more talent coming out. These guys got what it takes. And, I'm excited. Gears 5 is going to be something special.
Absolutely.
It's going to be lit.
Yeah, we're excited about it too, for sure. We kind of need to close the book on Gears 4, though, because we've been talking about this a lot throughout our chat here today, but this was the last Gears 4 tournament. So, number one, that's kind of bittersweet, right? You're doing your last tournament. It just kind of, like, you get all the feels from it. The critics of Gears 4 were into play, of course. A lot of players said they were not sad to see it go, often calling it too inconsistent from a gameplay perspective. So what do you think will be the legacy of Gears 4?
The legacy of Gears 4 will be our circuit. It's the $1 million circuit. It's Optic Gaming's dynasty. It's 5v5 teamwork. It's the start of a new beginning. And I think everything that we wanted, Gears 4, it reached new heights. And Gears 5, it's going to reach newer heights. And it's going to be something special. It's going to be a next step up. And so Gears 4, it was great, but it was the beginning of something new.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, we just wanted to close out here looking ahead to the future. Of course, Gears 5 is coming eventually. So what is your hope for this next title and what it can bring to the scene?
You know what? My hope for this next title, especially with us having E-League, us being on E-League on TBS, is that we have new fans that come through and say, you know what? I really like this community. I really like how raw and genuine they are, how friendly they are, the action, the trash talk, the excitement. We got a little bit of everything for everybody. And, I just hope that new people come over and, they give us a try. I promise you, we don't bite. Just come out to the event. I guarantee you will have a good time. The esports growing. You know, we're 12 years in, and I don't think, you know, we're going to slow down anytime soon, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And the trash talking is really only getting better. Cannot wait to see more of that, Blaze. Thank you so much for helping us close out Gears 4 and an amazing Boston Open tournament. We wish you all the best in the future, and we really do hope you stop by.
Say that again?
We want you to stop by again soon.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You already know how to get me. I'm here for you guys.
DMs, baby, I got you. That's the thing about esports, though. I know you know this, Zurich, but if you're just getting into esports, it's very important to keep your DMs open on Twitter. A lot of business is done there, like less emails, more DMs on Twitter constantly. So that's just how you keep it professional. Okay?
Yeah, the official esports email is your Twitter.
The official, unofficial. We do need to wrap up our Gears talk here just a little bit because we didn't get a chance to talk about it with Guy. But there's obviously a lot of trash talking in Gears. That's what makes it so much better and so entertaining to watch, in addition to watching the actual gameplay. So there have been more rules put in place, though, inside the actual tournament play, because if there's any kind of derogatory talk, anything defamatory, I think, as well, they seem to really be on top of it and shutting it down. I know a member of REC had to be timed out as well. Like they have 4 rounds. For 4 rounds. Like and that's a serious penalty just if you say anything that might be a little untoward.
Yeah, so it's like you need 7 rounds to win a game. So 4 rounds is more than half of the amount where you're pretty much playing a power play because there's only 4 of you. But at the same time, I think it is a very good step forward towards the right direction because this is the time where esports is becoming more professional. And as much as we want to keep it, you know, like as Gears of War as possible with their, you know, like however they were before. When we move forward, when the big money people come in, it's very hard to sell that style.
It's so true.
Yeah, and FGC has the exact same issue kind of where it's like they want to be professional, but at the same time they want to maintain their identity as that scene, right? But it's going to be tough to find a balance, but I think this weekend there wasn't as many bans, which means that it is kind of working, and you know the harsh punishment is definitely like something that the players are scared about.
They're just good lessons to learn, just as gamers, especially when you're online as well. Like, just don't use words that you shouldn't use. Don't be racist. Don't be ignorant. Just like try to keep it as PG-13 as possible, and you
just
can
talk
still
about
trash
the game.
talk that way.
Yeah, talk about their gameplay. If they, you know, if you outplay them, 2v1 them, or they choke, you know, just tell them they couldn't breathe. You know, be like, you couldn't breathe that duel.
I mean, you know that I still love, like, my all-time favorite clip still is that Northern Arena tournament with Explosive, just like, put 2K on it, put your baby count on it. I love that kind of stuff because it hurts, it gets you, it stings just a little bit, and you can tell it affects them moving forward in-game, which is the purpose of trash talking. But you did mention big money plays earlier, and we should talk about the biggest money play that just came into the first-person shooter world, which is this whole COD franchising thing that's going on. The first 5 cities have been announced. We talked about it a little bit on Unmuted, but I want to get your take on it.
It's gonna be, I don't know. It's weird.
Oh.
It's a very weird situation for us because we don't know that much information yet. So all we know is that the slots are potentially $25 each.
25
million. Sorry, not $25.
Yeah, that's a steal of a deal.
Yeah. No, but super expensive for something that for us we don't even have any information about.
Well.
So we'll see where it moves forward. So maybe they're just gonna keep throwing money at it again and then be like, you will see where this goes. Here's a lot of money. But I mean, it's good. It's good for esports. It's good for the entire, again, professionalism and making it seem like there is truly, like, you know, money to be made.
It's true, and it's nice to just see other esports shine on the biggest stage, and they need these cities to be attached to them. In my opinion, I think this is massive for just the scene in general. I'm so excited for the COD community and what this means for them, especially because it's all about the money, baby. You know this. Add that to the bingo card. I think I've already said it like 3 times today. But we need to talk about IM Sydney just quickly before we go, because obviously CSGO tournament's going down. You made a prediction last week that FaZe, with AJ, that FaZe would make it all the way to the end. What happened?
Well, they had a stand-in. Nico couldn't play because of visa issues, I think. So then, you know, when there's a sub, the entire unit isn't cohesive, and, you know, like, things happen. Bad things happen usually. They got eliminated by Greyhound, I think, which is an Australian team. So it is on their home turf. So hopefully the fans liked watching FaZe lose to one of their home teams.
okay.
There's a good side to it.
Oh, great. I love that you looked on the bright side of things, but I'm hoping that you did not put any money down, no betting.
No betting here. I can't afford it.
Ah, rip. Okay. Like, I won't salt on you anymore.
It's okay.
But lunch is on me, friend. All right, well, that was a little teaser. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to join us next Friday because we got more of this. We got IEM that we're discussing full on next Friday. We want to thank Blaze. We'll be back on Monday with an all-new show about League of Legends, MSI, and so much more. Till then, press our social buttons and squad stay to have an amazing weekend. We'll see you around.